Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 11th of January. Every week I will look at the charts for a few different stocks as requested by you. Just email us at mail@fairmontequities.com with the stock that you want me to look at. There's a limit of one per person and no guarantee that your stock will be covered depending on demand. Also, just take note of our disclaimer. Any advice is general only. Okay, the first stock we have is Data3 DTL. So this is a daily chart. We can see that the shares fell fairly dramatically in December. It's good to see that they didn't continue falling. So we have seen some sort of buying support at this level. I'll just move out to a weekly chart. So we could see that there seems to be a bit of support here. I think if this was to break, then we should expect it to drift down. But for the moment, it looks like the shares will just track sideways for a while. So probably just need to use up a bit more time until they can try to resume that uptrend. So if you've been stuck with it, I'd still be happy to hold it here. I don't think there's any need to sell it. Okay, the next one, YPB. Just move into this weekly chart here. This looks very encouraging. So what I've noticed is this initial move up in the middle of last year. Then it's come back, tried to head higher, just consolidated that move, and now we've seen a pretty bullish week. So you'll probably recognise this as a bit of a cup and handle. It's a nice sort of rounded out low. Volume's good in terms of drying up volume on the way down, and then the volume's really picked up on the way up here. So we could see this sort of cup and handle a bit more clearly, and now it's popped up. So as long as it stays above this line, that's a positive, and this thing could probably have a fairly decent rally. Cooper Energy, weekly chart. I'm in two minds about this. So what we've noticed is a rally here that was a bit messy and then a bit of a sell-off, and it's pretty clear that the sell-off was a lot more, I guess, impulsive than the rally. So even though it seems to be doing well at the moment to try to get back up there, I can't be too confident that it's going to go through this recent high. So what I think might happen is it has a bit of a rally here and then just needs to use up more time. But at least on a shorter term basis, if we just move to a daily chart, it's looking a bit more constructive. But yeah, look, I just can't get too excited about this one at the moment. TRS, the reject shop, this one is looking a lot better at the moment. So we could see the charts dominated by this price action throughout 2016, early 17, with a very large sort of sell-off, but it looks like a bit of a low has been found. If we move to a daily chart, we can see that at the back end of last year, it had this really nice rally up and a fairly flat correction. And then obviously we've seen a bit of resistance get broken here on this daily chart, and it seems to be heading higher. So you'd probably be aiming for this gap that was created over here, which is just under $8. But just moving out to the weekly chart, the other point to note is this previous low. So if it fails to overlap this previous low, then we could see an acceleration downwards. But price action so far looks pretty good, and I think it will go through that and overlap. Okay, GPT, not looking too great at the moment. I guess it's a little bit similar to the Cooper Energy one in that we had this there's been a bit of a sharp sell-off, and the rallies since then has struggled. And you'll notice that on the down periods of this so since it found a low here in October 2016, any of the sort of down periods have been fairly sharp. We're seeing that again. So just just doesn't look too bullish. It looks like it's, as soon as it got somewhere close to this high, a lot of selling did come in. So yeah, I think this one will probably use up a bit more time and end up back in the fours again. So Lithium Australia is the next one, LIT. This one looks pretty good. We can see that prior to its peak in 2016, had a fairly bullish looking chart. So I just like these impulsive moves, then a flat correction, impulsive, flat, impulsive, flat, impulsive, and then it's needed to consolidate a lot of that move. It's a bit of a shame it's pulled back so deeply here, but now it looks like it has found a low. A bit of a trend line makes it clear that it's broken that. And again, we're seeing a resumption of that prior price action that we saw here in 2015, where we have this impulsive move, flat correction, impulsive. It's having a bit of a correction again. I know this looks fairly sharp here, but it is sitting on top of that. Sitting on top of that high, so it's bounced at the right level. I think this one has further upside. PLS, Pilbara Minerals, fantastic move. I wouldn't be chasing it up here, but I'd be happy to hold. So we could see that it's had this very sort of flat correction, and then launched higher, very big volume. Just looking at the daily chart, we can see a bit of a three-wave decline, another rally. Looks like it's sort of testing that previous high, but it sort of struggled to test that. So I think we're going to see another wave down here, and then I might be interested in purchasing if I was bullish on the company. At the moment, it's sitting on top of that high. Whether we look at the shadow or the body of the candle doesn't really matter. Generally, it's sitting on top of that previous high, so it'd be nice to see it come back to about $1.10, and then if it can launch on decent volume, then I'd be happy to follow it. Okay, the next one we have is Galaxy. So this is a daily chart. I've covered Galaxy in the last two videos. So back here, I thought it was starting to look negative. It looked like there was a head and shoulders looked like there was a break of a head and shoulders. And then I think it was the week after, it was clear that it got back above it. So I said in the video at the time that it now looks bullish again and should go to a new high, and that's exactly what it's done. So looking good volume down here. So we can see all the volumes coming back in. It's hard to pick a target, but the momentum's there, and it's a stock that if you're in it, you should keep holding. Finally, we have Independence Group, IGO. It's hitting resistance at the moment, so potentially a short-term sell. So it's come up to that previous high. Now we need to see it congest here and get ready to move higher. What's clear is there should be a bit of support here. It'd be nice to see the stock sit on top of this high. That's a sign of bullishness. If it comes here, it starts to launch and starts to see some good volume, then I'd be happy to follow it, because it should just push through this level and head all the way up towards $6. So IGO is definitely one to watch. Okay, well that's it for today. Remember, send in your requests, and also make sure you do the right thing and share these videos on social media, Facebook, Twitter. The more people that we have viewing the videos, the more people that will request a stock, and the more chance we have to uncover something that could make us all some money. See you next week.